So I got confused when I heard people talk about how big of an IP Godzilla was. I mean, you remember this conversation?
Yeah, I remember that argument.
Because here's why I'm confused. Because I think of Godzilla as a character akin to Frankenstein. Like, Frankenstein is a very well-known literary character, very big, and has had dozens of movies off of him. However, you don't really hear people ascribe themselves really as Frankenstein's fans. He's kind of like a deeper part of literary culture.
I mean, Frankenstein is kind of a huge asshole. His monster's okay, but
okay, sorry, Frankenstein's monster. Sorry, Broberg.
Well, I mean, the thing about Godzilla is it is both, right? It is everybody knows Godzilla, the monster Godzilla, the giant monster Godzilla, and everyone knows that there are some number of Godzilla movies, but there's beneath that there's a layer of what these movies actually are. Is there's dozens of them, and it's Godzilla fighting other giant monsters.
That's kind of the question that I was going to ask to start this kind of pre-stream off, which is that, like, how do you
thank you, Tam, for the raid, by the way.
Godzilla the universe is kind of what I'm asking.
How I got into it?
How would someone, like, if you were telling someone to get started, because do they start with OG Gojira? Like, where do you start?
I personally think you do start with OG Gojira. Like, as long as like an old black and white film is not too boring for you, which I don't think it is. I think that film's very good.
Yeah.
I think ever since that film came out, the only thing that's come close to being as good, and honestly, I think -1 is probably better just because it's newer. But like,
I adore
1954 Godzilla is one of the best Godzilla films.
Yeah, I think you have to hit it with the -1 so that if they're too like, and then if they're too like TikTok brain to watch, like, you can't sit through -1. You're like, okay, this isn't going to work. We're not going to give you the black and white film. We're not going to try. We're not going to get your advanced stuff. But if they buy it, if it hooks them, then it's like, hey, you know.
So I think a good way to put it is if you just want to see monster movies and you have no problem with black and white films, Godzilla 1954. If you have the person who doesn't like black and white stuff or old movies like that, get them with -1. If they like political I don't know if I'd say intrigue, but like political talk, give them Shin.
So that gets back to kind of what I was first saying, where like that feels like Frankenstein to me, because these are like completely independent movies.
Sure.
At least from my understanding. I know -1 until -0 comes out, an independent movie.
Look, I'm going to try and not take half an hour going on a spiel about Godzilla. I'm not going to pull a Smiling Titan rant. But Godzilla, at least in 2 out of its like 3 or 4 eras, has had continuity, right? Like, 1954 is basically connected to almost all of the films in some way, shape, or form. And then when you get to Showa, that's like the 70s stuff. It's like a long-term, like almost Super Sentai style bunch of movies, except they're like from the 60s and 70s and they're monsters instead of like Power Rangers.
Sure.
And it's like Godzilla's a friend to the kids and he beats up the bad guys all the time. And he's a cool guy. He emotes on people when he beats them. He flies. He does all kinds of cool stuff. And then when you get to the Heisei stuff, that's when you're like in the late 80s, early 90s, where it's kind of like a little bit more edgy. Those have continuity. They are still kind of connected to the 1954 movie. And yeah, all like Final Max said in the chat, all of the Heisei era are fully connected, 100%. And that's a little bit more edgy and a little bit more serious. But Godzilla is still kind of seen like an anti-hero character.
Hey guys, I'm new here. What's your best?
Yeah, it's probably similar to like I'm making stuff up possibly because I don't know a lot about Star Trek, but like Star Trek has different generations that are basically there's a few different groups of continuity, but it's all the same concept.
Yeah. When you get to the Millennium era, a lot of those are kind of not connected at all, except for 2 of them. And then when you get to the Reiwa era, which is the newest era where it started with Shin, then it's not really continuity at all. It's just a whole bunch of like standalone films. And then you have like the anime trilogy, but that's garbage, so we don't really talk about that.
Shin is Hideki Anno, right? I'm not mistaken on that?
Correct.
Also, I do want to shout out, and we're hitting the 8-minute mark, but we have 46 viewers, so I might go ahead and start the main show.
Oh, that's totally fine.
Because I'm shocked at how many viewers we have right now. Thank you, everybody. Especially because we have Godzilla _KOTN, King of the Monsters. We have the Godzilla in chat. So I think we are good to go ahead and get started with the main screen.
Thank you for the subscription, Linoko and Iggy.
Yep.
By the way.
Thank you so much. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 4Checks Cast. We are your 4Checks here to give you everything to go with universes. And I have to stop immediately.
Thank you for the 5 gifted.
Thank you for the 5
so
gifted.
much. Lie to your doctor, aka Gavin, for 5 gifted subs. That is a crazy amount. Thank you. It's genuinely thank you so much. We can now afford lunch. Like, that's awesome. I immediately lost my train of thought at that. So we are the most qualified podcast in the game. So we are going to talk a little bit about what has been going on with reveals so far, because we've already had a few good reveals. Thank you, Ken, for the Prime. So we've seen 2 characters from the set so far. Let's go ahead and get Burning out of the way. Have we had a conversation about Burning Godzilla yet?
I'm sure we have.
Yeah.
I think briefly, but it
there's
was one of those,
only
like,
so much to say about him. Like,
right,
he's a guy. He makes stuff bigger.
right.
He has a really cool once per game.
Yeah, his once per game's really cool, and I love the fact that his once per game can be used on defense.
Probably used that way more than it'll be used offensively.
I agree for sure. I think like as this cool like attack abort, I really like it. I am very interested to see what he gets in the set. I thought he was pretty scary preset. For those of you who don't remember the reveal from yesterday, he mills 4. He gets +1 damage for every 5 cards in your discard
Every
pile?
5. So he gets basically 1 damage every time you play an attack, because he gets 1 from the check and then 4 from his mill. And
then once per game, he gets to remove 2 cards from either player's card pool, which can include the current attack, meaning you can abort rival's attack if he is at 15 or less health.
Correct.
So pretty cool abilities as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I had already kind of had a brew figured out when he got revealed that I was pretty excited for, that like used Titan Cliff and teaming with the attack Titan to do these really big strings of just massive damage. And then the ban list came out that banned both of those cards.
That's why I don't like building decks until cards are actually out.
Yeah, I felt pretty silly about that when I saw the ban list.
Well, so we've all met Justin. He's a brewer.
I literally people were trying to convince me to go live after this on my channel to start brewing with our reveal today.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good like newer player type of character. He says you're going to have damage, and he says, you know, when you mess up and don't play good defense and you're getting beat up, you have an out.
Right.
You have 1 get out of jail free button.
Yes.
And then maybe you can backswing.
Yes. I think the big thing is we need to see what he has. I wasn't the most impressed in the world with his UR. His 6 diff, mill 8, get +1 speed with max 5 for every attack in your discard pile.
It's cute.
It's cute. I think it dies to resets too easy, because like a 6 diff base 3 speed mid move scared, like I'd be very scared to play that in any deck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cute. The other character that got revealed I think is really interesting. So we got the first reveal from Green with Evil is Shin Godzilla, which, for those of you who don't know, is the version of the Godzilla, correct me if I'm wrong, from the Hideki Anno, aka Evangelion fame.
Correct. It's a very, very unique
movie.
take on Godzilla.
Yeah.
Very good film.
It's a very interesting film. He, I think, was really interesting. He was, and unfortunately I don't have the card image, tenacious response after a rival's foundation is destroyed due to your effect. Gain 1 health and get 1 power token.
Correct.
And then he also non-tenacious gives an attack +2 damage, either attack +2 damage, either yours or your rivals. If it deals damage, you may commit your character to make them sacrifice a foundation. Which means
the important part is May.
Damage. Huh?
The important part there is
yes,
May.
It's May. You can wait until an attack you really like, it's going to be your last attack or the last one you think is going to hit, anything like that, and then commit your character. Absolutely. And he also is a 7/23, which combined that with his life gain means he's going to be a 7 hand size character that is pretty hard to deplete to 0 life. I will say I'm fine with the character. I saw a lot of people call him Marco 2, and I think that that's a pretty like I can see the analogy there. You know, this sort of once per turn commit your character to blow something up. There are obviously akin differences. I think it is making really cool concept design of the nature of the power token. I think a character that can get a bunch of these power tokens as almost like powerful 2 momentum and prepare to put them on a big bomb is really cool on paper.
Yeah, and we'll probably talk about the power token a little bit more when we're going through our cards. But it's 7 hand size that give damage has always had a decent floor, right? They can only be so bad.
Right.
There's not, aside from having some health, there's not a lot of defense on face going on here. So you do have to contend with that, right? You do have to find all of your defense in your deck while you're also trying to include synergy pieces to get these destroy triggers. So it's going to be a bit of an ask to build one of these that's like really, really competitive, but he's certainly like at a minimum going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I was super excited just because these are 3 really incredible symbols for
Yes.
like Titan cards probably. And this is a incredible payoff if you're ever ruining your opponent. If your opponent has face down foundations and you have a Titan in the woods, you just got to play such an insanely great value for a 2-diff of your rival loses foundation forever, you gain health.
Yeah.
You get this power resource.
Yeah, if you talk
Armor Titan attacks too.
Yeah, Armor Titan attacks does immediately come to mind as like this is generate 2 power tokens with Ruin 2. That's pretty good. Also, like as someone who has played a lot of 4-check decks, Titan decks,
these are good 4-check symbols for sure.
I not only is it good symbols for that, but one of the things those decks have a problem is that their moves usually have a damage ceiling because you don't have powerful or EX. So they're always going to come in for 8-ish damage, which means your opponent kind of knows what to expect. Being able to be like, hey, the second you put the shields down and let one of these through, I'm going to dump 5 powerful tokens into it. And now it's not an 8 damage move, it's an 18 damage move, is a really powerful concept for those kind of decks. I also want to talk a little bit more, or kind of before we get into the cards themselves, what do you guys think of power token design? Do you like this little more generic ability that is in the stage but isn't a foundation?
I find myself having gripes with the rules right now pretty frequently, and I am displeased by the fact that token is a card type. I think like having to be an object in your stage, I don't know. Like it's weird that this gets to interact with the like count my different card types thing. That this now adds 1 more on top of backup. And that just rubs me the wrong way. I think having a token in your stage that says plus a token in play that says on demand +2 damage is awesome. That's really sweet. And I like the design space we're seeing of these being able to be created for doing things and then being able to use being expended for other resources. Like, this can turn into a temporary fake foundation if you route it through this 1/2 diff. That's really cool design space, and I'm excited to see what else is going to be going on with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If we step away from, like Kevin says, there's some weird implications of putting these things in the stage, but I guess it's fine. We added another card type that goes in our stage pretty recently too, right? Called backups, and that's been fine. It's weird that we started with token momentum and then went to token foundations and not sort of the other way around, perhaps. But yeah, I think I like that it's like, it's just +2 damage. But first of all, if this was more complex than +2 damage, it'd get really weird to be just sort of making them and destroying them and stacking them up and all that.
Yeah.
And +2 damage in this shape is not something that there's a good way to design otherwise, right? Unless you have a character that's like has some sort of ability that's doing this. Generally speaking, if you're getting 2 damage, you're getting it on a specific move, like now or like your next one.
Yep.
And not, I mean, 3 mid-4 that gives itself +2 damage is pretty lame. A 3 mid-4 that gives you a power token is at least a little bit interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like a kind of doing something a little bit. It probably still isn't good, but the shape of it's lets them do a lot of new design space things that we've never seen before.
Yeah, and actually, so I I really ought to like explain why I love the powerful keyword in detail at some point. I think that a lot of experienced players kind of get it intuitively. Like once you played for long enough, you kind of have played with powerful 3 times, you kind of see the shape of things. But like I mean, power tokens are all the good things of powerful, right? It's that if you play a small attack and you sack off the power, it makes your opponent incentivized not to block it, because if they block it and their shields are down, then you get to power them for free. And then if they're taking the small hits, now you're playing footsie back and forth, and the game is much more exciting, much more interesting. You can make these small steps to make this progress until eventually you corner them, put them in checkmate, and say, here, I'm going to start powerfuling this one to make it lethal, and then powerful the next one, and then power the next one, and then power the next one, and then you know you hunt them down. But like the chase of that is really fun and really sweet.
Right. I just like the fact that, as Dan said in the chat, they're IP agnostic, which is really nice. That means we could see them in the future very easily. We don't have to wait for a specific IP to bring them back. Like, they probably will, right? Like, they'll probably wait for like a superhero set or another big creature set or something like that. But it does mean that we could just get it in anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and not even like it needs to be an entire set around it. You could have a character in another set whose thing is they're giving power tokens, and you just reprint, like, maybe even as a redemption promo or whatever you want, a version of a power token that has his face on it.
Right.
Like, you don't. Tension is a really cool mechanic. I've really come around on it, seeing it in the design of the game. I've really liked what I think it's done for the game. But it is a mechanic that is so specifically built around the mechanics of Guilty Gear that putting it in another set would feel strange. That's not the case here. And I think that means that we get to keep revisiting this. I think like when we got Echo in the game, that was really cool. When we get a lot of like new mechanics that are IP agnostic and we get to play with them in a bunch of different ways, I'm always a fan of that. Backups, I actually have been a fan of as a whole, for example. So to be fair, EX is a game-specific mechanic. Yes, but EX is one where you just say, hey, this is equivalent of making a move fast and extra. Tension has 4 unique abilities that are flavored around 4 things that you can do in Guilty Gear.
It's called a Roman cancel token.
Yeah, and it's also called a Roman cancel token. It would be a lot harder to make people forget its origins in the same way people have kind of forgotten that EX is
forget about people, right? Go up to the Kodansha in your fairy tale set and say like, hey, we want to put Roman cancel tokens in here.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
What the hell is a Roman cancel? There are no Roman characters in our manga.
Now, are there any other non-character cards that really stuck out to y'all from the reveal so far, or should we go and get into ours?
We can probably go into our stuff.
You can give the people what they want. Yeah.
Let's give the people what they want. Now, everybody knows we have a tradition here at 4ChecksCast. We start with the non-character cards, which will upset some of y'all, but we're going to do it anyways. But I think there are some really cool ones to talk about. So we are going to start with one that will kind of indicate who our character is, and we'll give a little bit of a lore explanation later on for anyone who doesn't know.
I don't think any of them don't.
Yeah, they all have her face on it. One of them doesn't, I think.
I mean, power token.
But we have Biollante Arrives. And I do want a game in the chat. I want you guys to predict what this character does from reading the cards that we have so far. This one probably gives the biggest clue of the 3. Face down cards do not count towards progressive difficulty to play this card. And then enhance, flip, add 1 power token to your stage. Immediately my thought with this card is this is in many ways better than Red Riot's the coolest.
Yes.
Red Riot's the coolest. Yes, it was playable while committed, but it meant it had to stay in your stage to utilize. You could flip this card, pop it for something else, and you would still have access to its ability, like the Red Riot's the coolest style ability, or you can commit it to pass checks, and then it just becomes very similar to Red Riot's. So this, even ignoring the static and the fact that it's a slightly better block, but on a slightly less preferred zone because low blocks are a little harder to come by usually.
It's actually a strictly, well, not strictly maybe, but it's definitely a better block because it ignores progressive difficulty when you play.
That's true. It also
ignores if you have face down.
2 high instead of a 3 low.
Yeah.
But who would ever have face downs in their card pool on their opponent's turn?
Anyone who has Rayflay in play.
Bridget. Holy moly.
That's
Bridget's so good at blocking with this.
I do see
Yeah,
some
this
people pointing
is-
out Bebop here.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
It
think
is
this
very
a
funny
cool
that
card in Bebop.
we're getting the face down preview line here, right? We have Bebop, and now we have some
Yeah.
face down cards in this one.
Yeah, so I'm really. I think this card will see play in the same way Red Riot's the Coolest sees
Yeah.
play.
Absolutely.
It's just we need to
and
find
you know,
damage.
anything in this set that references power tokens for other purposes besides blowing
Will
them up
want this.
directly is like just even more stonks on this card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think this is a really elegant design. I mean, I think that I've been in some threads of people complaining that, oh, we're turning into Magic, or we're going to have a new mechanic every set. Like, I love cards like this, and I think it's crazy not to love cards like this.
Absolutely.
It's just really elegant. Like, here's what the mechanics do. You kind of get how it fits together, and you have these ways to hook into it, or you can just use it as a base rate, just +2 damage whenever you want it. Like,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
and hey, Magic's pretty successful, and I think
They're doing
the team has
something right.
embraced that. This is a game that's going to have some complexity to it, and they should just not run away from that and just try to keep doing new things to keep the players that are in the game, excited about their new sets coming out.
100%. But we, of course, do not only have one foundation like everyone else. We have two foundations to talk about. So let's talk about the other one. Wonder if you can give a little bit more idea of what we're doing. Blooming Beast. Flip. Face down cards do not count towards progressive difficulty to play foundations for this turn. It's at a 2/6 with +2 high block as well.
I hate that this doesn't say play foundation cards this turn, but I get it.
Yes.
I
I was actually
understand,
going
but
to
I'm
ask
mad.
that. So this does not work when you're blocking with foundations,
Correct.
correct? Because
Yeah,
they
for
are not
slightly
foundations
curious
at that
reasons.
point.
Yeah, this is, this is one of those where you wonder if it's gonna end up getting played or not. It's got the 6 check, right? So they know. They know where the power level of this card is a little weird, right? It's a pseudo. You probably need to be really laying into the face downs in your card pool for this to feel like it's doing something good for you.
Mhm.
And then building at least 2 foundations. It's kind of, there's a lot that has to go right for this to feel like it's doing something good, but I mean, that's why it's got the 6 check. So
Yeah. I don't know if it will see play an R character, but I will tell you
Right.
I will tell you who I think it will see play in, or at least we'll see experimentation. I think Bridget's going to experiment a ton with this card.
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're just gonna give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you have to be building a wide hand somehow, like where you have like a lot of cards you want to get into play, and you want to have. I mean, this is just like flip your like you play more foundations this turn at -1 difficulty. Like, that's not great. If it's -2 difficulty and you're playing like 4 or 5 foundations somehow, that's
yeah.
okay. That's pretty. You're getting some advantage out of this.
Hey, it also checks the 6. There's that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it'll be fun to see experimentation. It's one of those cards that when you see a character that says face down in card pools, you probably should give it a look. We don't know. Hard to say if it will see one in the current meta. Let's talk a little bit about the attack we got to show off. Tangled Grasp. This is a 3 diff, 3 mid for 3 throw. Blitz. This attack gets +1 speed for each face down card in your card pool. This is a 3 diff throw. It's immediately something that like is in the back of my mind somewhere. 3 diff throws are kind of cool. In the right deck, you might be able to make this really fast, but 3 diff throws probably always worth considering somewhere.
Yeah, and it has a reasonable block. It's not, nothing to write home about, but it's
Right.
not like a +4 block like some of these kinds of cards have had. It's not a non-block. I like doing funny things with throws, right? I like doing throws that aren't just the traditional, oh, it's a throw, so it's 0 speed and it's whatever damage, right? This is like,
That's how he.
they can block it with any zone and take half. They probably just, if you're doing the gimmick, and you don't really have to be doing the gimmick to play this, but you make this like if this is a 5-speed throw and a character that puts some damage on it, and you've got face downs in your card pool, so those are adding to progressive. You've got, you kind of want a cheap move that's going to do something.
Yep.
It has a shape, that could find it some homes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're finally seeing a bit of play from the squid throw, Tangled Grasp, in some of these Devil's Index these days, and I think that's kind of in a similar shape of, just 3 difficulty, 3 damage, throw keyword. Hasn't seen very much, but I think it's you find the right home for it, and it's going to have some merit to it.
And like in the context of comparing this to Tentacle Grasp, I guess that's 1 more damage, but isn't it also 1 speed?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like 3 speed
Yes.
is enough where sometimes it's hard to block if you've done a string of attacks.
Yeah, actually, I really like that they. I remember I have complained, years in the past at this point, but I remember I was very unhappy with like Vicious Madness back in Leader of Souls, where it was like here's a very big throw. It's actually fast. It's actually not trivial to block. It can test your blocks even more than that. And I love that they made cards like Horse Throw that are incredibly slow, incredibly like here's an attack with a clear drawback, and that we're like they have the distinction. But then here's a poke that is an incredible poke that's very likely to land, even if you're and then if even if your opponent's gonna like have throw tech for it. Like, are you really gonna work that hard
Yeah,
to block
right,
throw tech
yeah.
this 3 damage move?
Right.
Now, those are our 3 non-character cards. We got through them relatively quickly, but we got one more thing before we reveal our character. Will, you are notoriously a huge Godzilla fan
I am.
of the Godzilla universe. Can you do a favor to this chat? It's pretty obvious who we are revealing today. Can you explain to them the lore, the history, what there is to know about the plant girl Biollante?
So yeah, Biollante is a really interesting character in these movies. Fun fact, a little tidbit about Heisei era Godzilla: all the villains have something to do with Godzilla in some way, shape, or form, not just like a random kaiju that just exists. Biollante, for example, was created by a scientist by the name Genichiro Shiragami, who had his daughter died, and he took her DNA and made a human and rose hybrid. That's kind of like what he did with his science. I don't know. In the movie, it's just like a rose bush that has her DNA in it. It doesn't really do anything. But then he's worried about losing that because it's the only thing that exists of his daughter left in existence. He doesn't want to lose that when a whole bunch of roses start dying due to some like weird weather shit that's going on. So he takes Godzilla cells and then splices that to the rose bush to try and make it invincible, so to speak. And if you can see by looking at how Biollante looks, that didn't go so well. Turns out introducing radioactive mutating cells of a giant lizard monster does not mesh well with a rose bush.
Really, you would? I was not surprised.
So basically, Biollante becomes the rose monster that I posted in our teaser in what was the card? The Foundation Blooming Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just like cries out because it has like apparently has the consciousness of the scientist's daughter, and is trying to like cry out for like her best friend or something similar to that. But in doing so, kind of brings Godzilla to the fray because he's like, what the hell is roaring that sounds like me? It's like that famous not famous but like Dragon Ball Z abridged quote of like, is that me stronger than me? I'll kill me. So Godzilla shows up and just fights Biollante, and when Biollante gets defeated, but by being hit by Godzilla's nuclear breath, that further mutates her, and she becomes what we'll see on our character card.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put up a quick poll real quick. I want to see if chat can guess it. As I'm pulling up the image, will Biollante be a 5, a 6, or a 7 hand size character? I see a lot of people guessing 7. I see 1 or 2 people guessing 5. Well, let's go ahead and see who ends up being right.
It would be
it's a even split right now. Oh, 7's getting a little bit more. Let's see here. 6 or 7. I want to ban anyone who makes a 6-7 joke. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to vote because it's not fair.
All right. How do I end poll here?
It looks like it's ending very soon. It's got like maybe 10 seconds left on it.
I'll give people the final 10 seconds.
I'm happy about everything.
How do I vote for 8? I almost put in hand size other than 5, 6, or 7, but that would overhype people. And then when it's not 8, people would get mad at me.
Guy, why do you want channel points? We have nothing to do with them yet. Looks like 6 is the winner
6
with
is the
9 votes.
Well, it is 5 hand size. Biollante is a 536. Shout out to the 6 people in chat who voted correctly. Giant and monster.
6 is so much health. It'd be a shame if she had a damage reduction ability on her.
I know, right?
Yeah, 536. She has enhance once per turn. This is going to be a lot to explain. Add 1 card from your hand to your card pool face down. Add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. You may spend 1 momentum. Add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. You remember that billiards card we were talking about yesterday about how a card bounces a bunch of places? She, across her once per turn in hands, can move 1, 2, 3, 4 cards into 4 different places. And then that's not all she does, though. She has a
She's
bottom
even better.
instance. This attack gets +1 or -1 damage for each face down card in all players' card pools.
No minimum.
There is a lot to talk about with this character.
Yeah, so I think like the natural place for me to start with this character is that if you live the dream and you get some very full card pools, you are invincible.
Yes.
You can say -8 damage if you have flooded your own card pool with 8 face down cards, and that is a big wall to climb over for anybody. Tim, how do you feel about people giving your attacks -8 damage for just for existing?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do not like how decks that can spam damage reduction to probably realistically not quite -8 damage in this case, but there have been like some recovery girl decks that have done that, right?
Mhm.
And I think if it's like a prominent force in the metagame and you can prepare for it, then whatever. But if it's just kind of out there, just randomly, like, oops, heaven forfend, you played the go wide deck instead of the go tall deck. It sucks to suck, right?
I will say this has a bit of the energy I think of from Tension with the yellow Roman cancel, where it's very powerful, but it's also expiring, right? I have to fill up my card pool, and
you're gonna have to do it again. Yeah. So I'm not complaining about this form of it until somebody builds a deck that makes it feel that suffocating, right?
Yeah, this character is basically always a -1 if you have a card in hand to begin with, but
that's my thing is that like anybody who's played a lot of Reiner 1 knows a 36 health character with -1 damage on face is pretty hard to kill. Even -1 damage means that across the course of a game, this character really is saying closer to 40 to 45 health, depending on what else is going on across that.
Yeah, and the de facto 50 health is not, not particularly unheard of or anything that crazy.
Sure.
I mean, anyone dedicated enough but wants to play enough damage reduction cards can do that anyway. And a 7 hand size that blocks really good might force you to find actually 50 damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that in and of itself as a bar isn't too crazy. We'll have to see what the optimized builds look like if people do want to lean into this. But you have a lot of other things that you can and do want to be doing besides just playing as much DR as you can, because you want momentum. You have all these tutor targets that you can go and get. You need to land your own moves at some point.
It's easy to talk about the DR side of things, but I think we should also talk about the plus damage side as well. And more importantly, the fact that it says all players card pools. It can be pretty hard to get face downs in your rival character on their turn, because messing up their progressive on their turn is a scary thing. So they're very hesitant to print those.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah,
they'll exist and we'll talk about them. But for the most part, that's going to be less relevant on defense. On offense, there are a lot of cards with abilities that say, put a face down card in your rival's card pool for one reason or another. We're going to talk about it more later on the stream when we talk about tech pieces. But like anybody who is anyone should see that this character has the water symbol. Ray Fillet is on the water symbol. You put Ray Fillet in your pool, it says every attack you play is giving you scaling +1/+1 damage. And that's good. Like that's very strong to put on a character card. Even a 5 hand size one, that is a strong offensive ability. That being said, this top enhance is also a lot. Like I think a lot of people are going to look at this and for decent reason see kind of King Ghidorah shapes going on.
This exchanges the card for a card. You get the kicker, you get spend a momentum, you get to turn this into card momentum's worth like something like a card. So you like spending 2 cards, get 2 cards, you get the choice of cards, which is very powerful. But I think it's worth remembering, like playing +1 for difficulty is a real cost,
right?
And it makes it much harder to make use of the cards you're tutoring for.
You basically the trade-off here, if you're comparing it to King Ghidorah, besides totally different symbols, they're both going to be +30 health characters. Basically, the main trade-off is going to be King Ghidorah can only do it once every other turn because he has to commit himself.
Yeah.
And can only get one card. This character can do it on either player's turn because it's once per turn, and gets to pick up 2 cards potentially with momentum. And momentum is probably easier to generate than ever thanks to the tension moves. And on top of that, the trade-off is she now has to play at +1 progressive by putting a face down her card pool, unless you use a card like Fillet Fling or something like that, which we'll talk about later. So it is a trade-off. Like, that is a real trade-off. But given how relevant King Ghidorah has been historically, even in like the current meta where he got top 16 off the back of a format with Megalomania, these are still very good abilities to see. Like, if you call someone King Ghidorah shaped, that's a very good thing.
And Biollante is something King Ghidorah can't do with stash cards.
Right.
Biollante can on defense, right? You're not going to die. You're just like, well, I have this momentum. Here's 2 attacks for my next turn.
Yeah.
-1 damage.
That is a perfect example. If you see that like your opponent is not going to have the sauce on you, like maybe they had to check to 2 and have to overcommit, and it's very clear they can't pass enough to kill you, then instead of using your ability to pick up some powerful defensive pieces or blocking pieces, you can go, I'm going to get the best 2 attacks out of my discard pile. I am guaranteed to have at least 2 attacks to string into you. After I use my hand on offense, I'm guaranteed 3 or 4. That's a lot. Like, that is a line that will kill a lot of people. 3 or 4 attacks can often kill people.
Oh yeah.
There is one other thing. King Ghidorah did not add the cards to hand. Not only did that mean he could not stash, but you also could only use attacks and foundations. Correct. I think the scariest thing I see with this character is this character can also pick up actions from your discard pile. There are 2 actions I think particularly come to mind when I see what this character can do. First of all, this character can be pretty safe against Unyielding if she wants to be, because she can pick up Fill with Doubt from discard pile on her turn if she knows that the opponent's trying to loop Unyielding into her, or any other attack that is like a really scary one that she needs to do. And not only can she pick up 1, if she's got a momentum, she can pick up 2 Fill with Doubts and now say, hey, that card you need to resolve to do your thing, your Falling Titans looping me, it's not going to work. Sorry, try again later. That's very good. But I think there's an even scarier action that she gets access to. She gets access to Jury. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the card art on Jury.
This is sort of the big obvious.
Right.
Hand size with tanky abilities. We're already playing Referee Jury.
That was definitely the wrong Jury.
Flash off for only a second. Don't worry about it. There we go. This one changes attack damage to 4. If it deals damage, draw 1 card. Card pool, flip, commit 1 foundation. After your rival plays an enhance ability, commit 1 foundation.
Yeah, so it's -4 now, probably -2 for the rest of the turn, because if you put a card from your hand in, because you could do this while your hand is empty, as chat pointed out, and just go pick up a Jury if you want. But yeah, so yeah, people play a character that does a lot less in Fresh Cut Grass to do this sort of thing, and Biollante gets to do that and have other text.
Right.
Yeah. If you can call on people, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also nice that this has 2 symbols with her and not just one.
Yes, this has earth or water. Obviously, with this, you get to change attack damage to 4. You pick up 2 of these. Anybody who's played against Byaku knows how scary looping 2 Juries can be, and this character does it more easily than Byaku does. And they play enhances. You're now, for the rest of the turn, -2, -3 damage on every move. That is scary.
It's a really good pinch where, the Juries say, hey, if you're going to try to hit me with a 20 damage move that I can't block, well, it's not going to work. And the face enhance that says -1 damage for each says, well, if you're going to try to hit me with like a Mikasa shaped string of like 1 for 7s, they're not going to be as effective either, right? Mikasa makes them decent size, but maybe like Mikasa 1 as opposed to Mikasa Hizuru 2 is probably a better example of, these are attacks that are coming at kind of printed-ish all the time, and it's going to be a very hard time to get through.
Right.
Even a -1, -2 kind of thing. So yeah, this is a very, very powerful character. I think that it's like there's a huge opportunity cost. You're playing a 5-hand size. You're going to have games where you have a 2 or 3 build on turn 1,
Right.
and then you're going to have more attacks on turn 2, and it's just not going to
Yeah,
be
and
flowing the way you want it to.
yeah, and you need enhanced steps to do your card swaps.
Right.
Right. And you're trying to you're up against this pressure of, on my limited hand size, how am I going to get momentum? And that throw that we previewed comes in huge for this character. I think
Yeah.
that we're probably going to see a lot of play in this character, both because here's my poke, I'm going to do my card swap, I'm going to get my momentum, I'm not going to have committed too much to that first attack, so I'm going to be able to play out some cards, and now I'm going to have momentum for my ability, and also for trying to close out a kill. We've been putting a face down or two in our card pool.
Right.
What I want
Our
to grab a
progressive is
3-dip.
rough, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm still a 5-hander. I still, I'm probably not putting a lot of speed on my moves in most cases. So like having a throw that I can slam damage on is good too.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I look at this character and I go, killing this character is going to be an absolute nightmare. Reminds me a lot of like again, kind of Byakuya, but also like Recovery Girl and things like that. Just like getting access to these defensive pieces from discard pile, where like you have to have such an overwhelming offense on a turn, or you're not going to make that much headway.
Or play discard pile hate. Which I'm
Or
not
you
sure
play
how much of
discard
that
pile
there's going to be after rotation, but
Yeah.
There's an okay amount. It's
Yeah.
not crazy, but there's an okay amount. It's just people don't really play it right now.
You can
Yeah.
certainly still devour her power over and over until she gets stacked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with that in mind, let's go and start talking a little bit about tech pieces that we can utilize with this card or with this character. Because I think the pool of playables this character has access to is exceptionally deep. I want to start with one card that, like, if we're going to be on the water symbol, we should probably be looking at cards akin to this. Cheerful Teen. This is one of those cards that has always felt on the edge of playable to me. Defensive, put a card in your opponent's card pool. I mean, we had the like Mineta 3-diff that did a very similar thing. It's pretty good at clogging opponent's pool, pretty good at making it harder for them to make plays. And then also, if we manage to destroy Rival Foundation through a myriad of things, or they do it themselves, we also instantly get to use this to draw 1. The thing that's always kept this from being playable to me is that, like, if they have enough damage, they push through it pretty easily.
I don't think this card's ever not been playable. I think there's just a lot of 3-diffs.
Sure.
Better.
The reason that this has never beaten the other 3-divs to go into the pile, I should say. But this card now saying, not only do you put +1 progressive on your opponent, but you're now for the rest of the turn at -3 damage. Against a lot of go wide decks, that's going to make killing you near impossible. I mean, she doesn't really exist much anymore, but imagine a pony-styled character that's mostly poking 4 and 5 damage at you, and every turn you're picking up and building Cheerful Teen and saying, hey, all your attacks are coming in for -3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Biollante is going to challenge you to either like have a protected win, right, like a Deku with a Guardian Angel time type thing, or else to really play the long end, really have the energy and the kind of, I think of it as like the cardio, right, to like attack, like throw some hands, make her expend some resources, and then reset and play defense, and then attack and throw some hands and make her expend resources, and just keep doing that over and over and over for a long time to just gradually be able to grind her out, which is cool. You know, I love to see the game being played differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little bit more of the 3v3 format energy where like the deck that has no game plan other than to throw everything into one all-in turn is somewhat exposed to something like this. But the deck that is, go back and forth and trying to chunk it 8 damage per string at a time and still play defense is going to be relatively fine.
Yeah, so I think if we're on the water symbol, we should look a little bit more towards Mina support, though. We briefly mentioned this in our earlier stuff, but there is another card that she gets strong access to from Girl Power, which is Acid Screen. This card to me looks like if you're playing on the water symbol, you've got a pretty strong string ender right here. 5-diff, 4 high for 7. Face down cards don't count towards progressive difficulty. And if there's a face down card in either player's card pool, you draw 1. I can definitely see a world where you take this card and you you play a string out that has a lot of self-flipping attacks or other things to give yourself progressively damage, and then you end with 2 of these that are on like 5 or 6 difficulty to kill the opponent. That seems like a very reasonable line a lot of things have. Plus, when we're already the DR character, Deflect 4 is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, I mean these are your extra copies of Jury if you're on water, right? Because you're not going to be tearing through your deck probably with all the other things you're trying to do here. So, if your game plan at least includes being able to pick up some form of damage reduction from your discard pile, Deflect 4 that is also sits in your hand and is an attack for if you don't end up needing to use the deflect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that you can just poke with. Do your tutor, draw a card. Like it's just all around good. Like I'm sure it will have some uses as a finisher, but I see it doing everything else even more than that.
absolutely. I also think like if you are trying to not die, let's say you're on really low life, like Jury plus this is exact zeroing out of a move if you know their damage pump is gone. And like, so there are definitely, if you're playing this on water, which you probably are if you're playing the water symbol, there are definitely lines where it's going to be like, hey, instead of picking up 2 Jury, where I'm basically asking to take 8 damage, maybe I'm picking up Jury and Screen, and now I'm going much more comfortably at 0 damage on a move. They have to extend harder if they want to kill me, or get any momentum at all.
Yeah. Having this as a tool in the box so that you can contest a damage trigger, I was gonna say dust attack, but I guess dust attack needs to deal exact 5 damage, so any penalty can start screwing with that. But yeah, contesting momentum, contesting if this deals damage, like there's a lot of things that dealing 1 damage is an awful lot more than dealing 0 damage, and so deflect can accomplish that phase change. That's very, very powerful.
Right.
Now, it is worthwhile noting that we should probably talk a little bit about some of the attuned symbols that she gets access to, because she gets the life symbol attuned. And like water symbol is pretty obvious card pool clog. Earth symbol has a lot of DR and things like that you might be considering. The life symbol has some notable stuff from AOT, being her only AOT symbol here. And the first card we want to talk about is End the Cycle. A lot of people have been saying, oh, +1 progressives real. We've been saying +1 progressives real, and it is. Hey, why don't we go ahead and give all the cards in all, or -1 speed for all cards in all card pools, means that now we get to, at least for an attack or two, negate that progressive we put into our card pool.
Yeah, my favorite angle of this is just that if you just have this in your stage, you get the 3 or 4 progressive difficulty through whatever means, you get your opponent collect with a little bit, you have this DR going, and it just puts them in such a bind where if you want to like over-invest in an attack to try to finish the game off or to really accomplish anything, just the threat of activating this and then having even like a +1 or +2 block in your hand makes it so difficult for them to actually be confident that they want to accomplish anything that they want to accomplish with any of their attacks. Obviously winning, but even if it's like, if you have a damage trigger, if you have a momentum getter, they need to be on guard that you have the threat that you could have the right block zone, not to mention you could be tutoring for it or whatever. But
yeah, because the other part of this is like, yeah, you can tutor for a damage reduction card. You could also tutor for exactly the right block.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so having some speed reduction to make that an option, so you have something going on besides just like, oh boy, I hope they can't count to 60 is a good idea.
Yeah. So I think you do, like, I'll be honest, I've played the DR decks. I've played a lot of decks that like don't care about blocking. I think it is important when you are building a deck like this to say, what do I need to do when I need to block? And End the Cycle is a good way to say, I have a game plan for when I have to block on moves. I can't just sit here forever and Jury every move, because I'm taking 4 damage at a time that way, or 3 or 2 damage at a time that way. I might eventually die if I keep doing that, especially if I am not pushing.
And if you're just a Jury bot, people are going to start holding their damage pumps, and
exactly.
Yeah.
Or if your opponent goes Chinatown, all of a sudden your Juries do nothing against an attack.
Or they play Mega Blow Mania.
There is one other life attuned card I really wanted to give some attention to. I think immediately you should be considering any powerful foundation that flips or sacrifices itself. because you have a pretty consistent way to recur those resources. Last second rescue, potentially one of the most powerful ones if you are going for a lot of momentum. Flip spin 1 momentum after you take damage, gain X health. X equals the damage you took. If X is greater than 5, sacrifice this foundation. Pretty simple here. You build one of these early in the game. You probably don't fish for additional copies, but you know you have your defense online. If your opponent ever manages to break through and hit you where you need to use it, you can just on the next turn reaccrue it, pick it back up, keep playing defense if you need to.
Yep.
Combine this with, again, the aforementioned juries, and all of a sudden now killing you is going to feel nigh impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little down on this idea, but maybe it works. I think spending a momentum on this instead of an entire extra card, and spending your tutor on your turn to grab this instead of other things you could be grabbing is a bit of a high ask. On your character. Worst comes to worst, you can always grab jury and take a lot less damage from move already.
I think for me, my thought on this is the one of the better ways we're going to have to deal with Deku. Because Deku hitting
Deku kills you lose, right?
Well, Deku, but then you tell Deku he has to do 36. He can't do 21 turn and 20 the other turn unless he has an answer for this card. There is a big difference in a Deku that's asking to do 20 twice and a Deku is asking to do 36 one time.
The difference is, are they in deadlock or not?
Right.
True.
Yeah. No, I really like. I'm just gonna get you queuing up. I really like Fleeing Danger in this character. This is a card I like already. Card I already play when I can and when it makes sense, when I can fit it. But once again, you can grab the correct zone block. So the completely block requirement on this card is not that big of a deal.
Right.
And so, not only are you getting the base rate effect of, your cards are going to be harder, they're also going to have that -1 damage shaved off of them. And in Biollante, the complete block is not a particularly big concern. You don't have to worry about what if I get caught with the wrong block zones, which is kind of the one thing that can spook you off of a card like this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also not only do you not have to worry about not having the right block zones, you don't have to worry about getting caught with a +3 and having to try to pass the check against a medium speed attack. It's actually even as a 5-hand size staging area, it's actually pretty hard to make all borderline impossible to speed pump all of your attacks to the point that they're going to be unblockably fast. What you can do with these speed pumps and stuff is make it that the first block is going to be the last block, but Biollante only needs 1 block to start imposing these big costs on you.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, anything that is, I always think it's really powerful when a character has a powerful effect for doing something that is already good. Putting cards in your opponent's card pool is already good. Turning around and converting that into additional DR is fantastic. And so anytime a character says something like this and has cards that enable it, it is a thing you should be trying to build or consider building towards.
Yeah, having an eye for that kind of force multiplier effect, where you could say, you could frame it as, oh, it's win more. If I'm doing the good thing, I'm already getting ahead. But this is turning favorable positions into unlosable positions. It's turning favorable positions into games that are actually over. And having an eye for that is a great way to win more games.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there is one card that we haven't talked a ton of, or that we've kind of circled around, that I really do want to bring up here, and probably going to give us a lot of time to talk about it. I want to talk about Hunter's Ally, because I think a lot of people's brain is going to be water symbol for this character. She screams water symbol. Face downs in card pool is the water symbol thing. I think Hunter's Ally makes an exceptionally strong argument for why you should be considering the Earth symbol. I'm going to ignore life as the primary symbol on this card because we don't get jury on life. There may be other reasons to consider it, but jury is such a powerful defensive piece that when we can already do this thing on Earth, we're probably going to lean Earth.
I mean,
I
think it's good to keep an open mind.
It's good to keep an open mind.
There's an awful lot of good attuned cards.
It's good to keep an open mind. I want to talk about this card in the context of Earth and attuned, because I think that's where I'm going to at least try to play it. This is our Ray Fillet Searcher. We talked about earlier on the stream how powerful Ray Fillet is. For any of you who do not remember, Ray Fillet just is enhance your turn, put a face down card in your rival's card pool. It's a backup. You can do that every attack. This cheats it in. Now all of a sudden you say +1 stream, +1 damage, +2 speed, +2 damage, +3 speed, +3 damage, so on and so forth. That is an exceptionally powerful thing. And it also makes it harder to justify attacking your Ray Fillets. You know, whenever you're playing a really powerful backup, there's always a question of like, is this going to survive a turn? But is your opponent going to want to waste and put face downs in their card pool trying to kill your Ray Fillet when they know you might just draw a Hunter's Ally and build it back? That's a hard question for your opponent to ask. So I think it's immediately good for that.
Yeah, like Ray Fillet, Hunter's Ally. I mean, kind of what I was saying about converting good positions into winning positions. Like it could sound win more, but no, like it's a lever that lets you crack the game open. It's so strong.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, winning more is how you get up and over Rodons. Winning more is how you get up and over DR walls, like the things this character is going to be putting up.
Right.
The mirror batch.
Oh no.
Suddenly both plants become suspiciously honest because they just bounce their plus and minus off each other.
Jesus.
There is another card that I think is worth calling out, and part of the reason I lean Earth for this character, at least for the next year. If we already have the Ray Fillet in, we have another fantastic target in Strategic Meeting. Anybody who's played a deck that benefits from momentum knows it can occasionally be hard to get momentum. Tension does make that easier. But if you're wanting something that's a little more versatile than just a tension move, Hunter's Ally plus Strategic Meeting not only builds you a foundation for stringing, but allows you to then take a card from the top of your deck, put it in your momentum, which you're now going to be able to convert to any additional card on your once per turn. You know, you draw Hunter's Ally and you have the 2 juries in your pile. Your opponent now knows they're going to have to play through 2 juries next turn. That is a sizable thing to have access to. And it means even when we've got Ray Fillet in, even if we're playing Cammy as an additional ally backup, we still have a really powerful ally tool that fulfills the other half of our character.
And someone's going to pick up 2 juries, not use it on this move, and I'm going to say build pass.
Yeah.
Like, okay, nice 3 hand size. I don't know.
No, absolutely. That's fair.
Speaking of tension and speaking of picking up really great blocks from your discard pile, I really like rolling movement for this character. This card is a 0 high block when you go pick it up with Biollante. And I like me some 0 block modifiers, and it is also a tension move and is not a bazillion difficulty. So kind of, you know, and Biollante is going to put some damage on it in theory. So, you know, the lesser stats aren't too huge of a deal, you know, relatively speaking, compared to some other, you know, tension situations where you're thinking about putting a card in your deck. So yeah, not a lot to say, just kind of does a lot for this character. I know Chat was talking about also like having breaker blocks in all zones. And this is a toolbox friendly character, right? You could have 2 copies of all sorts of different stuff for a chance of going and grabbing them. Once again, I don't know how much we'll see in the set if there's self-mill options that become available, you know, to this character in some way. But I imagine like one of the things that's going to be going on is like how fast can you actually fill your discard pile?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that I think we talked about kind of like the discard pile as a resource as a design space last week and how sick it is. I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how people build their Biollante decks. You know, are they going to have a lot of 1 of tutor targets? Are they going to have 4x of the good ones and then like maybe 1 or 2 other random little things here or there? You can kind of I don't want to just like throw out the cliche of like, oh, you can learn a lot about someone how they build their Biollante deck, but kind of.
Yeah.
It is very Ghidorah coded. I mean, when you look at different Ghidorah builds and how they're utilizing their toolbox, you will see such immensely different design space or deck building spaces. Some people are like, I'm going to grab as many of the resets from discard and use those. Some are really focusing on like what they can block with from discard pile or what attacks. Some will 4x a bunch of stuff. Some will 1 or 2x a bunch of stuff. Characters like this really can be a deck builder's wet dream. Now, I do want to mention with rolling movement real quick, and I just kind of want to show how deep the pool is of playables for Biollante, because I see rolling movement gets you attention, and there's always a question of tension of if you do want access to yellow, you need a second momentum. I see a card like Piercing Thorn Lance, and I go, oh, hey, this might be our second momentum right here.
Hey, yeah.
We go, rolling movement on offense, tension, grab a move. Piercing Thorn Lance, put rolling movement
That
in.
Thorn Lance is on a 7.
It is on a 7, so there is maybe a world where that's not worth it.
But Tim, we have the Tiara wall. We don't need the foundations to play to just mash our character's button on the table.
Exactly. I know that's sarcasm.
I forgot about the reptile beams. Oh my god.
But
if Reptile could tutor his discard pile, he would not have been rolling your face on the playmat for sure.
I suppose that's true.
Well, I guess if you're literally always tutoring Refugee, it kind of is, but
we are kind of hitting our hour mark, and we could keep doing this. Like, there is so many cards this character has access to.
Yeah, like
shout out to chat. Great Yamada attack is hilarious. Like if you accomplish that, like hats off.
I'm just gonna go get 2 of these. I think we saw go get 2 Mighty Gathering mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, Tim, you're gonna play the Yamada attack. You're gonna put a card in their card pool and turn 3 of yours face down, and then press your button. It's gonna be bigger.
+4 damage. Yeah. Also, great Pinky Mineta combo or whatever that card is.
Oh yeah, I think there's maybe a
combo
D-build,
face down.
like that card for some D-build. You could also play Enthusiastic Encounter to take stuff out of their card pool and put their best foundations back in their hand. Like, Water does have some pretty solid D-build options this deck could consider. Again, there is just so much here. And we haven't even talked about a lot of the generically powerful things that she just finds better than other people. Moment of Normalcy is a powerful card that feels bad in any deck besides Tyner to play at more than 2 copies in many situations. It feels like it can clog your hands too much if you're playing at 3 or 4. This character feels fine playing it at 2 because if you need the Normalcy, you go fish for the Normalcy. If you're in a deck against that. Airship, exceptionally powerful card. Hard to play at more than 1 or 2 copies because it's a 3-diff asset. Maybe we don't find room in it anyways, but I feel like playing it as a 1-of, and if we find it in our discard pile, we can pick it up and use it as we need it. Might be good enough.
Never forget the 4 Airship Ymir.
The 4 Airship Ymir. Yeah,
it is that good. I've thought about 4 Airship in certain decks.
I've had decks where I know I played 3, and I've had decks where I considered a 4th Airship for sure.
If you want the 2 high block, it's sure a good card with the 2 high block.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna bust someone's bubble. I saw this earlier, and I just now thought about it. Whoever said we can fillet fling finger guns combo, no, we can't. Finger guns will not be legal with this character.
That's true.
Those 2 cards will not be standard.
Yeah. Also, like, fillet fling is picking up a card you put in there from your hand, so you're picking up your worst card in exchange for like -1 progressive. It's not.
Paul, I can't be sure if you're ever memeing or not, buddy.
Have we mentioned Echo, by the way?
No.
So explicitly, like, that is a way to put a face down card in your card pool that sure wears plus X damage.
Yeah, your character wants to generate momentum. You want the face downs. You're a 5-hander. You're looking to find more moves. It's very easy to sit here and think about like all the 4 attack strings. Even your character goes and gets 2 attacks. It's still like getting a 4 attack string off is not trivial.
Right.
Yeah, overall, I'm just so impressed with this character. I'm gonna call it now, and people can laugh at me later if I'm wrong. They will anyways. I think Biollante will top a regional next year.
I can see it.
I think this character is so clearly strong and versatile and has so many different ways they can be played. I know it is. If Godzilla came out for Worlds, this character would be on my list of playtest decks for Worlds. She is that good. And I am not just saying that because that is our promotional character. I didn't say that about Bebop when we had Bebop to reveal. I think this character could win or top, if not win, a regional. And I think she would be she is a competitive contender for any tournament.
Yeah, and I think if you like what you see with this character, if you like the idea of these abilities and building your deck around them, this is a deck you can be a one-trick on, and you will inflict suffering on your locals, which is probably something you want if you're that kind of person. And it will not be a gratuitously awful choice, right? Like, there's some characters that you're kind of trolling yourself by playing them, and I don't think Biollante is going to be one of them very often.
Yeah, I'm up for Will Topo regional or equivalent event. There's only 4 regionals next year, so
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
that's a bit of a tall ask, but
a little bit.
Will
of
she
small.
win a local championship? Will she send someone to Worlds next year?
I will say
Local
there-
championship, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh, I will say there is a 50-50 shot. I take her to a regional or at least one of my LCSs next year because this is my kind of character. I love DR characters. I am the opposite of Tim. And this is a kind of DR character that just seems so much fun to utilize. I like characters that feel like they're kind of cheating the game a little bit with what they're allowed to do.
Side note, I like that he said he likes DR characters, but he's most well known for playing Jiro and Smiling Titan.
Look. My best performer was Hanji 1. Well, arguably it's Jiro. But besides Jiro, it's Hanji 1. So
long list of characters that do not reduce damage.
He also played Ymir at Worlds last year.
Yeah, okay, no. Ymir was a DR deck with 4.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair. She was DR deck. Her face didn't DR. I forgot.
But no, I will probably take Biollante to some event. I will certainly take it to my locals because I want to ruin my locals' time with this deck. Ymir does the opposite. She gates up. Yeah, I'm really happy we got to reveal this card, and it says a lot about the power level. I don't even get the... Oh wait,
I have no idea what that.
It's so funny.
Justin, did you get it? What's it mean?
I'm trying to tell if Jose is making a Doggone Rampa reference, and I'm very upset if he's making a Doggone Rampa reference. Jose, can you explain the joke? We're finishing up anyways. Can you explain the joke? I need him to explain the joke for me. Or DM me the explanation. I don't need it in stream. I know what it means. It's a political joke. It's a multi-layered joke. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. It's that.
Got him.
Okay. This is we are just starting to head going off the rails, which I think means that we are at a good time to start wrapping things up.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Anyone want to plug their stuff when we have 41 viewers?
Yeah, do it, guys.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's actually getting to be quite a while since I posted the video now, but I have a Satonis YouTube, CETONIS. I was supposed to put the World's Meta Poll back up after the ban list, but I was progging Savage. I'll probably still put that back up. If I procrastinated long enough, I just won't do it, but I'll probably do it. And then
I posted a link to my Substack blog where I've been. I say it kind of fell off, but for a little while I was on a decent shtick of dropping articles. I have thoughts about universes, and I'm pretty sure they're intelligent. So go read it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Will?
Yeah, I'm running the VOD channel for this podcast. It's on YouTube, youtube.com/4checkscast. Usually I upload on Mondays, but I might go ahead and upload this tomorrow just so that like people don't have to slog through the Twitch VOD to find the reveal. I can put in timestamps for a YouTube video.
Yeah, drop the good images in some Discords too, right? You're saying that? Yeah.
I would I was going to stream after this. I was really considering doing a deck build stream with this character, and I might still next week.
Coward.
But I'm not going to say that I'm doing anything on my channel until I actually start doing things on my channel.
Yes, Tim?
We forgot the spiels.
Oh, yes.
So this set is releasing on March 13th. There's a pre-release the weekend before. If you sign up early for it, you get extra loyalty points. Those signups should all be live. I feel like pre-release signups have been live for months for this set. They schedule these things way out. But yeah, make sure to sign up for that if you haven't already to get your extra bonusing points. You can pre-order them now. The loyalty bonus ends on February 27th, which is still a long ways away, but we've got a big preview season to go. And make sure to follow, whether it's the Universe's Discord or just on the UBS Games website. They have a list of the future content creator previews to check out.
And if you're going to Worlds and you are that excited for the set, they're doing 2 early pre-releases at Worlds at side events.
Oh, I forgot. If I'm not in day 3, which I will be in day 3, but if I'm not in day 3, I will definitely be doing the pre-release events.
Oh yeah, we love early
Um,
cards.
I have
Anyways,
low
thank you guys so much.
expectations of being in day 3, so I'll probably be playing some pre-release events.
We've got
Wonder if they'll
so
let me
many
double queue.
viewers. Is there anyone live to raid right now?
No.
I think any UVS peeps are. Sam's live. Ace Maneuvers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll go and
Sam is
send over
live.
Oh,
to.
yeah, go play games with Sam.
How do you spell ace? How do you spell maneuvers?
Man, Ubers, EUVERS.
That was an invalid MANUVERS.
Hold on.
EUVERS.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Sam's running. I don't follow the details too much because I don't participate in these myself, but he's trying to do a bunch of different online events for a bunch of different alternate formats coming up. So make sure to check out his stuff for details on that.
Mhm.
If you're interested in 3v3 format or Hero 2 or any of that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're interested in universes, like playing weird formats is a great way to just kind of shake some ideas loose and just open things up and put some new incentives on the board and go check it out.
Anyways, with that in mind, you guys are ready to raid. So thank you guys
Yeah,
so much
sure.
for tuning in. Please tune in next week if you enjoyed our show, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Hit the raid. You hit